what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This podcast is sponsored by the 2019 Foot Candle Film Festival. This year's festival will be held September 27th through the 29th in Hickory, North Carolina. Learn more by visiting footcandlefilmfestival.com.
We'll try not to too much talk over each other, but again, we are girls and we are
agree to disagree.
And I was like, okay, moving on. Well, the makeup bottle. A little. It's like a cracked out T-bird, some grease.
Yeah,
She's got that black hair.
Welcome back to Chick Chat. It is your favorite guilty pleasure on the airwaves today. I think not just The Mesh, which is our network that hosts all these fabulous podcasts, but I kind of think, or I'd like to think, that we're your guilty pleasure for just making it through a day. Because let's be honest, we're moms, we're ladies, we're somewhat hip to things, but adulting is hard. Life is hard. And sometimes you just need a guilty pleasure to get you through these Tuesdays. Mondays, sometimes not that bad. Tuesdays tend to be pretty hard.
Yeah.
How you doing, Jeanette?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's the East Coast?
It's still hot. But it's fine. We survived the hurricane, number one, first hurricane of the season. So
that's right. That's right. Dorian came through and luckily you guys did not have much issues, right? You were inland enough.
I don't think North Carolina was hit that badly. I think there was some flooding on the eastern near the shore.
Yes.
But where I am inland, a lot of heavy wind and maybe some rain, a little bit of rain. But it was fine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the breeze.
I was about to say maybe it cooled it off a little bit. I don't know, but I am glad that everything fared well for North Carolina. But of course, we know that like the Bahamas is not so lucky, and definitely been trying to follow that and see what's possible to do down there for them. But I hate all the devastation that storm brought to them. So let's
are tough.
Absolutely.
You're just in the middle of the ocean and have nowhere to go, inland or anywhere, because it's just you're on an island.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you always feel bad for them and worry about them more so than. I mean, we were hit pretty hard last year, but it's really devastating when your whole country is just kind of underwater. So,
well, and like you said, you don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful there, and the people are so kind and friendly. And I just, as much as I hate hearing all about it, there is that light that I enjoy hearing about the good humans out there that are doing things that they can, and stories coming out of there. So we'll continue to keep them in our thoughts and really cross our fingers for no more devastation to come anyone's way. Hopefully storms just enjoy staying out on the ocean. And hopefully you get a break from the heat soon. Everyone I talk to is like, man, it's so hot.
It's hot.
I mean,
it's hot at 8:00 at night. I mean, and the mosquitoes are out now. And so it's not like pleasant to be outside, even when there's somewhat of a breeze. It's just, I come in every night like, oh, that was nice. And I wake up the next morning like my ankles really hurt because I got bites all over them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mean to be a downer or anything, but it's kind of chilly out here.
Yeah.
Highs in the 60s and kind of cool at night. I've got on sweatpants right now. Like I was contemplating getting a blanket before we started recording, but whatever.
That's nice. My air conditioner's gone out twice this summer because it's had to blow constantly all day. Whatever.
It's overheated. No big deal.
If I had on sweatpants, I'd pass out. But it's fine.
Just over here glistening.
Glad your children are safe and don't have to worry about heat stroke.
This is true. Yeah, it was a discussion today of whether we, the children wear hoodies to school or.
I had the same discussion, but mine was, don't wear a hoodie, you'll die. You're going to die in a hoodie. It's 95 degrees outside.
Gosh. Well, I can't I can't say that I miss that part of it, but I do miss a lot about the East Coast. But I am, we're faring well. And look at us managing.
That's right.
Recording podcasts cross country. It's fantastic.
At us. We are truly national now.
We have
Canada.
We have gone big time, guys.
Yeah.
You know, they can't see us, but I can see you, so that makes it easier to record this. But
we're national and international with our Canada crew. I mean, come on.
Absolutely. And you know, I'd like to think there's people all over listening to us. And in like Europe and stuff.
Yeah, shoot us a line. Let us know where you are. Megan, if you're listening, the royal family, if you're listening, you're always a topic of conversation. Join us.
I mean,
I'm always on your side.
I know you've got a fan in Jeanette, Meghan Markle, but maybe just Jeanette. So speaking of the royal family, that was a brilliant segue, and you don't even know the topics I was going to bring up today, but Princess Charlotte has started school.
I mean, could she have been any cuter?
It was adorable. You know, I found out that when she was in nursery school prior to this year, she went by the nickname Warrior Princess.
Love it.
I mean, I am here for that. Warrior Princess due to her adventurous spirit. I mean,
love it.
Bring it on, Charlotte, because I think they're going to need you in a few years over there.
I think she has a kindred spirit in Uncle Harry. I can see because she's second in line.
Absolutely.
In line now.
Yeah.
She's going to be the one like, it's not going to be mine.
I do what I want.
Me and Harry are out just in the islands skiing and or water skiing. And
I love it.
Getting into trouble.
Yeah. She's now going to school with her brother. So obviously that's, you know, good for them, I guess, different grades and whatnot. But George is there, and we got a great little video of them being walked to school by Kate and William, which I loved seeing both of them in with their little backpacks and uniforms on and stuff. But yeah,
she didn't go to what's his name? What's the little boy's name? You said George. She didn't go to his, right? Because she was on maternity leave or in the hospital with the baby.
That's right. That's right. We just got the pictures of William walking him in that time. But yeah, I loved the little video of them all four walking to school. It was great. She will be known as Charlotte Cambridge.
Okay.
That is how they, you know, I'm sure in these royal schools that they go to, I'm sure they have to do Scantron, you know, filling in the bubble letters and stuff. Like she has to have a last name that fits in that. So Charlotte Cambridge.
Okay. I like it.
That's always been a topic we've always discussed. Like that's, you know, it's weird, right? Because they've got like 18 middle names and then like sort of maybe a last name. Like you're never really sure because you don't have to go by that. Us normal people don't have to call them by a last name, but obviously in school and formal things, they have to have a last name. So it's Cambridge.
So when, I know we don't, something I'm going to have to look up, but when Charles becomes king, if Charles becomes king, does that would then make William Prince of Wales, which is how they ended up with their last name, because their father is the Prince of Wales currently.
Well, that's the thing. Does your name and title change when that?
I thought the Prince of Wales was the heir to the throne, but I don't know.
You mean the title itself is the heir to the throne?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, because then they would no longer be the Duke and Duchess. I mean, they would still have that title of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, but then they would then become the Prince and Princess of Wales as the heirs to the throne.
And Charles would just be...
He would be king.
Right.
He would be the monarch.
I don't know.
Because isn't Prince... It's the Queen's last name is Windsor, right?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the house that they're in?
The House of Windsor, so I thought that was like kind of her last name. You know, they just take last names. I don't know that they really have a last name. They have titles. So...
Right. And... Because technically, Charles under Philip. Philip was Mountbatten.
Right. So their name is Mountbatten Windsor.
Right.
But he's the Prince
Charles.
of Wales.
Right. And now he's the Prince of Wales.
And so William and Harry's name was Wales when they went to school.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
William Wales?
Or maybe it was Windsor. Maybe it was Mountbatten Windsor. It was something. It wasn't Cambridge.
Right, exactly. You know, I'm going to need you to do some research.
I'm going to research that because I need to know the family tree. It'll confuse me. I'll get frustrated. I'm going to do it.
I need to know who to send my pen pal letters to.
Cambridge, Sussex?
This is important, people.
Like when I'm stalking Zara, what do I call her? I need to know these things. I want to be polite about my stalking.
I need to be proper, please.
Right. I don't want to break any protocols because if I do that, there goes my chances of ever meeting them.
Clearly, my security clearance is gone.
Right. I need to pass this whatever security clearance they have. I need to pass. So,
well, that is your homework. That's your homework is to figure out what William's name's going to be.
When he becomes the second in line, the heir.
Or when he becomes exactly. When he becomes ready to the up
when you're next in line.
When you're about to be king.
When your dad takes the throne for like a year or two. What is your title going to be?
I mean, here's hoping. So yeah, that's what your charge is. And the reason I kind of wanted to bring up the whole nickname thing, one, I think Warrior Princess is just adorable, and that people recognize it and aren't scared to like say it, you know. Mm-hmm. But that kind of leads me into who I would like to name our warrior princess of this episode. I think maybe that's something we're going to have to start doing is every episode we designate a warrior princess that we are proud of and want to give shout out to. And today I'm giving the Warrior Princess Award to Demi Lovato.
Oh,
I know. I have been on the fence about Demi over the years. You know, I mean, girl breaks your heart. She gets, she's had some problems and they are things that, you know, are unfortunate and have caused drama within her life. But the reason I've always kind of stuck around with her is because she's been very open about them. And I do think that that's part of her role, you know, is if you're going to be in the spotlight and you're going to have these issues and you want to, you know, maybe what she's doing is helping other people. Right.
Right.
But she recently posted a photo on Instagram of herself in like a, maybe a tropical area somewhere. I don't know where she was, but she's in a bathing suit and she's getting out of the water and kind of looking back at the camera. Like she's got one leg posed up, if you will. And her picture was unedited on purpose. She posted it.
Okay.
I'm going to share this with you so that you can see what this picture looks like. Nobody else at home is going to see it, unfortunately. However, do you see this picture, Jeanette?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Her post says, "This is my biggest fear, a photo of me in a bikini, unedited." And guess what? She posted that. She's like, "I'm so tired of being ashamed of my body and editing it. And so that others think I'm their idea of what beautiful is. It's just not me. This is what I got. I want this new chapter in my life to be about being authentic to who I am rather than trying to meet someone else's standards. Here's me, unashamed, unafraid, and proud to own a body that has fought through so much and will continue to amaze me when I hopefully give birth one day. It is such a great feeling to be back in TV and film while not stressing myself with a strenuous workout schedule before 14-hour days and depriving myself of a real birthday cake rather than opting for watermelon and whipped cream with candles because I was terrified of real cake and was miserable on some crazy diet. Beep." So here it is, raw and real. I love me, yada, yada, yada. She goes on to continue. So it's a gorgeous picture. She looks like a healthy young woman who is confident and strong and has way more guts than I would post in a picture, you know, and in a bikini standing out. It's just, I love that she did that. I love that we've seen that movement recently of several people saying they're posting unedited photos or the no filter photos or no makeup photos. And I love those. Not just for celebrities, but I've seen it in my friend circle posting on Facebook or anywhere else whenever they're doing a no makeup challenge. And I love it. So I am here for her. I'm here for it. And I'm proud that she did that.
Yeah, I agree. She looks beautiful, and I'm all for her being our warrior princess for today.
Absolutely. So I encourage everyone to go check that out, support her, support that movement, because why should we have to edit everything that we do and everything that we post and everything that we say, when it's maybe not really who we are? And she's kind of tired of it. I don't know what she's talking about coming back to TV and movie. Have you heard anything? What is she doing?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what she's going to be in.
Maybe she's making up music, maybe? I don't know.
I'm going to keep my eyes open, though. She apparently posted this on National Cellulite Day.
It has its own day.
That's what it says. It says hashtag National Cellulite Day. I don't know if Demi made that up or whatever, but I'm here for it. That's fine. She also refers to it as cellulite.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, at first I was like, Demi, if you're going to post this, learn how to spell. But really it was cellulite.
Yeah.
So anyway, please look that up, support her, and let's keep that movement going. Let's start a whole new revolution behind it. And I'm really working on my segues because I have another one with this. I found this article the other day. Wanted to bring it up. Did you watch Friends growing up?
Yeah.
Do you still watch Friends?
I do. I'm one of those, I have to miss an episode for a while to love it again. I can't keep watching the same things over and over again. So I took a hiatus, but I've started coming back to them just within the last couple of weeks.
Okay. So you may or may not be aware, but the 25th anniversary of Friends premiere is coming up. Meaning obviously 25 years ago, Friends premiered on Must See TV. And I have seen around a lot of celebrations that are happening in the Friends honor. Even at our local movie theater here, there's a poster up. They're going to have a Friends marathon of one episode from every season in the theater. And they're selling limited tickets on the day of the 25th anniversary. So, I don't know. It's strange. It seems like it wasn't that low. But so this article I was reading was talking about how, again, one of our popular topics, reboots, have been happening over and over again. And, everybody always says they want a Friends reunion, not necessarily a reboot. It's more of a reunion. Where are they now? What are they doing? Let's have a Friends movie. Let's do this. I'm not sure that I'm 100% behind that, but this article really addressed how, Friends holds up a little bit. Right now, you could watch Friends and a lot of it's still relatable, right. And people think that it's pretty timeless, that they don't need a reboot. That it's dated. They're not all sitting around on Facebook or anything else right now, but the topics are relatable and whatnot. So this article's mentioned how Friends has that type of appeal to people, if you will. But, there's a lot of things like Jersey Shore or 13 Reasons Why, or I don't know, there's several other shows that really, when we see our grandkids watching it one day, they're going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But I don't see that with Friends. However, this article brought up a really interesting topic. It said, there's a small select group of people out there that think Friends is really the worst of television, and the fact that they still get millions of dollars every year for royalties on it for being played over and over again on syndication, but that it has some of the worst, I don't even know the word of it. It's saying controversial topics that we really shouldn't be praising in 2019. Okay. And I had to think about it. I was like, what what? Like what? Joey eats sandwiches all the time and whatever. There's goofy stories and stuff. But I'm going to run through real quick the topics that they claim Friends are too controversial for current TV. Tell me what you agree with or what you do or don't agree with, okay?
Okay.
First one is High School Monica, okay?
Okay.
In the show, we know that Monica was overweight in high school, and it's brought up a lot in the show.
Right.
But they call her fat most of the time. Most of the time, the term they use on television on this show is, Monica was fat. They don't say plus size. They don't say overweight. They say fat.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really who she was. She was in a fat suit and whatnot, but it is a little cringeworthy, I guess, sometimes when you hear people just kind of commonly say that, and they almost were making fun of her for all of the quote fat jokes and referencing it. So I don't know if that's, weight shaming and whatever it may be, but again, these are controversial. I'm not saying that I agree with these, but this is what the article.
Controversial today and not then. You know what I mean? Like, it's never been like okay to bully someone for being overweight or for anything. So I don't understand like why it's only bad today. It was cool 25 years ago because it really wasn't.
Right. Agreed.
I think we saw the way it was presented. Yes. I didn't get the sense in watching it that it was making fun of overweight people or in general. It was more a background on her character and who she was and why she was the way she was.
Right.
Because a lot of who she was today was because of, her being overweight and how that affected her dating life and her social life and even her friendship with Rachel and how that all started. And, and even Rachel's appearance, she wasn't.
She got the nose job.
Right. She got the nose job. She wanted to marry a rich doctor. And I mean, it's, a lot of it I felt like was background things. I mean, Jerry being the stereotypical large family Italian, it's, I mean, all of them had character, just things about them. David Schwimmer being married to a lady who turned out to be a lesbian and Chandler having a transgender father. I mean, it's like, this was all about just who they were, and it wasn't ignoring the social impacts of it. It was bringing them to light, but not bringing them to a light in a way of, let's discuss every in and out. But it was just, these are who the people are. And they're all messed up in some way. And here, I mean, not that those things are messed up things, but they've all they don't just come from money and they're sitting around, they're all neurotic for a reason.
Right.
These are the things that happen in every people's Monica was someone that the overweight people could, look at and say, yeah, I get it. I'm not the one always asked to the dance. Maybe if that's their reality. I'm not saying that's all of their realities, but I don't know why it would be any more controversial now than it would then, because I think it was a topic then. We just talk about it more freely now.
Well, and I think now, look at what we were just talking about with Demi Lovato. Yeah. It's been a generation recently, that is constantly photoshopped.
Yeah.
And so now it's coming back around to people saying, screw Photoshop, screw this editing. I want to be who I am, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think this article is kind of saying hey, they kind of made light of it a lot, but it wasn't ever, nowadays you kind of hear the conversation followed up by healthy diets and how to eat keto or paleo or whatever. And back then it was just she was overweight and they were kind of crude in the wording about it. But
and they were kind of mean to her in some aspects, Chandler just didn't want to date her and all that stuff. But But I mean, at the same time, when she was overweight, her character, you always saw eating a carrot or just doing this.
Right.
And she evolved into being a chef because she liked to cook back then too. She would just eat all the food.
Yeah.
So she channeled that energy into becoming a chef. But they also show her eating real meals, no longer just eating carrots and lettuce on her plate. She's actually eating responsibly. So I think it was one of those, I guess there's just things like you don't catch on to as a child or a young adult when you're watching it, that when you're an adult, you're like, it's funny, but wow, how she's changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I get it.
I know. And it's also one of these, like, as I read through this list that this article comprised, I feel like I'm also looking at it like, gosh, everybody's so sensitive, like.
Yeah. And I always try to stay away from that, but I'm even getting to the point with, can we have a discussion without someone being offended over everything?
Absolutely.
I try my best to watch what I say to people to not to offend. Not that I'm always like constantly offending, but just to be aware. Right. At the same time, I find myself over and over again. I'm like, oh, is that what I say offends me? I really didn't mean it that way.
Yep. I do. I personally feel like people are so easily offended these days. Yeah. That it is very eggshell sometimes. And that's a lot of what this article comes across as to me. But I do think it's interesting that somebody pointed out these things because they are topics that are brought up in some of our other discussions we've had on other shows. So the next one goes into the storyline of the male nanny. Do you remember that episode when Freddie Prinze Jr. became Ross and Rachel's Manny, right? And, this article is kind of alluding to the fact that every guy in the show assumed that this character was gay and that they kept questioning that. And surely that's the only reason somebody would want to be a male nanny. And so it was, they're kind of harping on the fact that's like, hey, look, anybody can be a nanny and, more power to guys for doing it and yada, yada. It's okay to do that. It's not okay for Ross to assume this. A little sensitive. Yeah, I think so. But it is, again, just one of these topics of people saying, why did you guys put it in the storyline that everybody assumes he's gay and puts it as a negative connotation in this role?
I guess. But again, think of Ross's background story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
married to a woman who turned out to be a lesbian and fit every stereotype when he started. Like, he would even say in the show, no, she did this. And then he's like, oh,
yeah,
makes sense.
I get it now. Right.
And I think part of it was wishful thinking that, I'm going to say he's gay. That way I won't have to worry about him hitting on Rachel.
That's exactly right. That was the first thing I thought of that's the reason he was saying it, is that because it's Freddie Prinze Jr. in the 90s. Right. Hello. Right. He's gorgeous. Right. Yeah. So that's where the insecurity lies. Which brings up the next topic, which was the whole episode where Ben, Ross's son, wants to play with Barbies.
Right.
And Ross spends the whole episode trying to get him to play with G.I. Joes.
Action figures.
Yeah. Action figures, yes. So, it probably stems, like you said, if we dive deep into it, it would stem to Ross's sort of masculine insecurity on it. But people are offended that Friends showed this. I don't know. I think it was just, I don't know that it's a bad thing. I kind of feel like I've known plenty of people in my normal life that are normal functioning human beings. And they had sisters. So therefore they had toys that were maybe more girl driven anyway. So we're not going to buy all these new toys. You have, whenever my kids were real little, like, I don't understand why I spent a lot of money on toys, because my kids would much rather play with Tupperware, pulled out from my drawers.
Yeah. So. My son is crawling now and wants to play with wires. We don't let him.
Thank you.
But I'm like, no. We don't.
Well, and you're a perfect example of this. You have a daughter.
Yeah.
And you've had a daughter for many, many years, to where your house probably has more stereotypically driven girl items, right? So, but now it's like, are you having to start fresh, or do you care if he goes and grabs one of their dolls?
Here's the thing. My 7-month-old doesn't know that I'm a woman and he's a boy.
Right, right.
He sees something that he's interested in that looks, interesting, and picks it up and plays with it. I'm not going to be like, oh no, Mason, put that down. that's a girl toy.
That's a girl toy, right.
And it all just starts depending on, how they're playing with it. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. Sorry. How they play with it, even my daughter, if she's playing with Barbie dolls, I want to know, how are you playing with these dolls? Like,
absolutely.
If you have a male doll and a female doll, I want to make sure we understand how they're being played with.
Right.
And no one says anything if a girl wants to play with a truck or a stereotypical boy toy, like a boy doll or, action figure or anything. No one says anything about that. But a little boy wants to play with a Barbie or a Cabbage Patch Kid. It's a doll. All I worry about is, are there any small parts on it that can hurt him?
And honestly, he's going to lose interest in it within the week. So
he doesn't like anything for more than, like you said, a week. And
moving on.
Tiny now. What can I explore now?
That's right. Yeah. It was something I always appreciated with the idea. And I know not everybody does this, and it's fine. I don't care. But I chose to never find out the sex of the child that I was having. Mm-hmm. And so with both of my children, I didn't find out what I was having. I left it a surprise until the doctor told me when that baby was in our arms what it was. And you would be surprised, Jeanette, at how many people were almost ticked off, like pissed off at me that I didn't know.
Yeah. that I want to get you the right toy.
Yeah. They were like, how in the world are we supposed to buy you stuff? And I'm thinking, so what? They make girl diapers now? Because I just need diapers.
I just need baby things.
Yes. I need wipes and washcloths and socks and
get me white socks if you're worried about it.
By all means,
but the socks will end up off their feet within an hour.
So. That's right. That's right. It was just funny that the standard behind that people were just angry that I wasn't telling them, and like they thought I knew, but I swear I didn't. But nobody understood how in the world I was going to be able to plan for having a baby if I didn't know what sex it was.
And that's us as a society putting a title on things or a name on things. Like, this is for boys and this is for girls.
Right, right.
Like, your kids don't know. Just like they don't look at someone and be like, yes, they'll notice a difference in someone, but they don't choose to love or hate someone because of their skin color, unless you tell them they should love or hate someone because of their skin.
That's right. Ridiculous. I was talking with my brother and I think I might have even said this on the show before, but, my dad made some comment about age, when he was going into high school, that he didn't go to school with other races just because that's at that time you couldn't.
Right. Grew up in the South. Yeah.
That's right. You grew up in the South in the 60s and early 60s, and it just wasn't the case then. And he made some comment about something like, do you guys ever still notice that at school? Like, is it still a weird, separation or something like that? And my nephew was like, why? Like, I don't, like, what do you mean?
I understand what you're asking me.
And my dad was like, he's like, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad that it's not something that's like obvious or put out there for everyone or still talked about and stuff. And, we were joking. We were like, our kids have never been in that situation where we have to say like, oh, this is why you don't talk to this person. And, and it's crossing everything from racial lines to how students identify themselves, all this different stuff. And honestly, they just don't,
they don't care.
They don't care. It's not a reference to them, and I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for the future. If they, my daughter's the same way. She's in middle school, and like I think I said something about, oh yeah, I'll get that for Mason. When that's for boys. She's like, Mom, there are no boy and girl toys. I'm like, okay, you're right, but I'm still gonna get it for him.
Right. I'm getting it for him, and he's a boy. Doesn't mean it's a boy toy. That's right. But right.
I do catch myself sometimes. You're a product of just the age you grow up in, and I'm so hopeful for the future because I do see things like, them being a little more compassionate towards different people who are different than they are, or
absolutely
live a little bit differently than they are, or, socially, just even with money, people who might not have as much, or people who have more, just them being comfortable around all types of people and being inclusive. It's just, I'm hopeful that trend continues, that the majority tend to be more inclusive. You're always going to have your outliers and your minority that,
of course,
they try to bring in. It's usually the minority group that's the loudest, as far as not minority, but it's like the smallest group of people.
Absolutely.
Bark the loudest. But it does give me hope that being more inclusive like they are and just seeing life a different way.
Yeah.
The further away we get from, I think it's good that, our parents, I don't remember what it was like to grow up like that, but parents certainly do.
Yeah.
So I'm one generation removed, and having a child that's 2 generations removed, hopefully by the time we get to 3, 4, and 5, it's just going to be like, I can't believe you guys ever lived that way.
It's these weird history books, things like we read. Yeah.
Like what?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that my children's friend circles kind of look like a Girl Scout cookie box, right? Like they are just, and that's on their own doing. Because honestly, they don't even acknowledge to me. So we're obviously, since having moved, we're in a new school district here. So we're in a new school, new state, new school, new everything, right?
Yeah.
My kids who were super excited about school, I wasn't worried about them, but every parent's kind of like, oh my gosh, I hope it goes okay, right?
Yeah, because they're leaving their friends. They don't know anyone.
That's right. And, they come home and they're telling me about these different kids that they've met or that they ate lunch with, or that they, descriptives of the kids.
Yeah.
It's just their names, and I don't, will not go on forever because I do like to know my friends or my children's friends, but I don't know anything about these kids.
Right.
And for now, I'm okay with that. When they start hanging out at their houses and stuff like that, that's different. You want to know their family, like make sure it's safe over there or whatever. But it's like they don't come home and tell me anything other than, oh my gosh, I made a friend.
Yeah, and my daughter does the same. Like she'll be like, Mom, the girl with the blue shirt or the blue belt. Like, they all have on blue shirts. Like, can we be a little like give me another detail? And she's like, Mom, I don't know, Mom. She's got the ponytail. Do you see her over there? Her hair's curly. And then like I'll end up saying, are you talking about the little black girl, the little brown girl? Like, Mom, don't identify people by their race. I'm like, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to narrow down who you're talking to, because there's 10 over there.
I'll do the same thing. And I'll say it to my daughter, and she's just like, oh, well, yeah. Yeah, she is. But,
not that it matters. But yes, Mom. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's so I love that. I love that about it. And it's great. But
what I also love, like, and I don't know if this is true for your daughters, like my daughter is fully aware of it. Like she's fully aware that there's differences in people, like races and, even gender identification and just like homosexuality. Like she just feels like that's just more information about that person. It doesn't influence her thinking of whether or not she's going to be friends with that person or whether she likes that person.
Yes.
Or can include that person.
Absolutely.
If nothing else, I think even more so she's more aware to make them feel included. But so I'm not saying that she's completely blind to this or unaware, which, there's something to say about that too. But I think there's something more to say about like, she's fully aware that there are differences. She's not nice.
That's right.
Like she sits with people that she has things in common with.
That's right.
Boys, girls,
Yeah.
Different ethnicities, it doesn't matter to her. She just wants to be around people that she's comfortable being around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make her feel better about herself, and she does the same for them.
Yeah. I mean, my youngest daughter, like, she was the least one I was worried about moving out here, just because she'll make friends with the light pole. But she, her big thing is, I'll always ask her like, oh yeah, so you guys are friends now? And she's like, oh yeah, they're so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's the same thing with her teacher. She's got a male teacher this year, which is her first time having a male teacher in this grade. And it's only 3rd grade. So, and I love that she does have this male teacher and all. She was so excited about it. And I asked her the other day, I was like, so you're really liking your teacher, right? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, what's your favorite thing about him? She's like, oh, he's so funny.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what she likes. She wants somebody that's funny, and she thinks her friends are fun to be around then. She doesn't care what they look like or anything else. They're just funny. And this one makes me laugh, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's also, not to toot our own horns, but, you know, something to say about the way that the environment that they're being introduced to.
Absolutely.
You know, the environment they grow up in. You know, if their parents don't ever mention it as being an obstacle or something that you should stay away from,
yes,
they would think it's odd if we're like, well, you know, are you sure you want to be friends with that little girl? I mean,
no,
we haven't been introduced to that. We've done a good job of saying people are people. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it. Look at us. Proud parenting.
Look at us.
Gosh, my goodness. Well, speaking of the racial side of things of this article that are bringing up these crazy things about Friends.
Yeah.
The next one that he discussed was the cultural references made when Monica had her hair braided in the Bahamas. So when they went down there and Monica's hair hit the humidity and it poofed out because of her style of hair, which, amen, I can relate with. Humidity does a number on my hair.
I actually used a meme of her in that episode yesterday when talking to my friends about, like, what's the weather like? Like, this is me right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So she goes and gets her hair braided, and she loves it. One, because it's got the beads at the bottom that make noise when she walks. Mm-hmm. But also just, again, it's not super poofy, and she can operate on a normal basis and enjoy her vacation, right? But it was, of course, the people, the naysayers out there saying that was culturally offensive. But
I think that's now because people accuse the Kardashians too, because yes, there was a time when like Black women have been getting their hair braided for years, like cornrows or whatever you want to call them, boxer braids, whatever you call them. They've been getting their hair braided for years, but I think part of the sensitivity of it is now it's a hip thing to do. Like, before, they'd be made fun of for their hair, and it was just a natural way to wear your hair without it poofing up, without you having to do anything to it. You would braid your hair. It stays longer. You don't have to worry about, you know, it poofing up, or because it's a different texture of hair.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden, like, people like the Kardashians and even Bo Derek in the movie 10 would braid their hair, and now it's cool because a white person's doing it. But I also remember when my friends would go to the Caribbean or the Bahamas, anywhere, on vacation, they'd always come back with at least a couple braids in their hair with the beads at the bottom, because that's what that's how some of the people in Bahamas make their money, is by braiding tourist hair to look like the hair that they wear down there. Some of them wear. So, I mean, again, I think it's highly sensitive now to think of it that way, but I think it's because of what's going on, you know, like, it's being mentioned more. But I remember laughing at that episode.
Right.
I was like,
and I think that's what people
related to the hair issue. I was like, that's totally what I would do if I was going down there. Like, I would braid my hair.
Right. And you and I are different races, right? But I can relate to that hair because I have curly hair and it sucks in humidity and it gets poofy. And I can totally sympathize with the fact that anything I can do to get this hair to tame down, I will do.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I think the humor of the fact that humidity does that to someone's hair spans across race barriers, right? Like,
it's a curly hair thing, because I'm the same. Like, my hair is super curly.
That's right.
You do that. But I think it was also funny because she had always been so put together.
Yes.
I never saw her hair curly until that point. And then everyone was like, what is that?
And that was brilliant on the writer's part, right? Like, that's the first thing that people think is like, whoa, I didn't even know she had curly hair.
Yeah.
Well, I spent years trying to straighten my hair every morning before school. And I step outside, and if there's one drop of rain, I'm screwed. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So, you're
like, oh my gosh. You had cried tears. It's like, it's blood by the end of the day.
All my Aussie hairspray is gone I wasted it all.
That episode also had Aisha Tyler in it.
Yes.
And who is Black.
Yep.
And she didn't wear braids.
No. And she was dating two white guys.
Knowing the things to be, and she was dating two white guys at the time.
Yeah. In fact, she was cheating on one guy. Should we discuss how that's wrong?
In the friend group, not just like some random guy, but are we nitpicking? Because it wasn't like there were no Black people in the episode. And like, it wasn't like Aisha Tyler was walking around with braids and then Monica got braids. And so it looked.
And they had an awkward moment or anything.
Right.
No.
Aisha Tyler wore her hair down that episode like she normally does.
That's right.
So that's why I'm kind of like, can things no longer be funny? Like, if we can't laugh at things, what can we laugh at?
Yeah. And I think people are picking the wrong thing that they're supposed to be laughing at.
Right.
They're not supposed to be laughing at the fact that she has braids that cross a racial line or something. But it's more, like I was saying, it's funny that her hair has this humidity that so many of us can relate to. And then it's like, she tries to wear a hat. Remember, she tries to do all this. Yeah. And it was just horrible. And so, you know, amen. Put on some braids. I love it, because I would probably have to do the same thing too. You know, I mean, just to get my hair to tame.
I may not be remembering the episode correctly, but I thought it was someone who said, "Let me braid your hair," or something. I don't know. I may be remembering differently.
Yeah, I can't remember the details either.
They were playing something in the game room, and she came in with the braided hair, and they were all like, "Okay."
Right.
We've gone from like huge hair to braids.
Yeah, and she loved. She would walk around, and
she loved it,
so that the beads would tap. You know, I thought that was awesome. I think I'd do the same thing, because that's just a pretty noise, right? Like, that's just.
Look, my mom did my hair with the beads when I was little. Like, she would braid my hair like that with the beads, and I would go like this the whole time, like just going back and forth, like
ching 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 ching. It's like wearing big hoop earrings or something with dangles on them, right? For the first time, you're feeling it, and it's like, this is so much fun.
So they hit you in the face, you start getting like little welts. You know,
Good to know. Good to know. So the last thing that this person brings up in the article is, I don't know. I have some problems with this. I don't agree with this person. I have some problems that this person has a problem. Okay. It just says Rachel getting off the plane. Okay. So at the end, obviously, spoiler alert. I know it's 20 years old.
Okay. Yes, which time? Because there were so many planes. Like, I get you.
She turns down her dream job in Paris to stay with Ross.
Yes.
Okay. I get it. I get what this person's saying. Oh, feminism, blah, 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 blah. Don't ever turn down your dream goals and stuff to stay with a man. But just as we've been talking about this entire time, I think we might be losing focus of what was happening here.
What I think this guy's forgetting is it's a TV show. Right. And it was ending.
Yeah, this was the series. This was
not real life. She didn't really turn down her dream job. She was living her dream job.
She's still living her dream job because we're talking about her. Right. That's still why.
She's $100,000 an episode. She was good.
She's still getting paid right now. Yes.
Right. Like, this was a TV show. She got off the plane because it had to end that way.
Like I said, I get what they're saying. They're saying like, oh my gosh, don't ever do this because, you know, you are amazing without a man and blah, blah, blah. But let's take a look at this from, if we were to truly not care that it was TV or whatever else, if it was real life, right?
Yeah.
And these were my friends, you know, I guess there's that sappy side of me that's kind of like, you know what, if you love and want to be with somebody, you're going to kind of do whatever it takes to make that happen. I mean, I would have to kind of look at it and say, you know, they do have a child together and this was going to be hard across the ocean, right? To do this. So by all means, if she realizes that this is real love and he realizes this is real love and they kind of say, this is it, like end of the story, you know, then who am I to be like, yes, please go work your 60-hour-a-week job while you raise a child alone in a strange country.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Maybe I'm kind of sappy and sentimental that way, but I mean, I don't think it's any less of somebody. I don't think any less of a female for maybe choosing her love and happiness, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if that's...
Because we don't know why she took the job. Maybe she thought there was no future with Ross, so she was like, I'm just going to go start over.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. I don't know if it was a male or female that wrote this article, but I'm surprised he took issue with that more than he did with the fact that
it's a female.
He went to England to stop a wedding of Ross and then decides to go on his honeymoon with him, even though he didn't get on the plane. That her getting off the plane bothered you more than her going to stop someone else's wedding.
Someone else's wedding.
Right. Not her own, but somebody else's. Right. And that was her whole purpose. And then when presented with the opportunity to go on the honeymoon that was meant for someone else, she was all for it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we take issue with that?
Exactly. I think this is, again, one of these like, they shouldn't have ended up together. It shouldn't have been that she drops her dream job. She's a strong woman. She should have blah, 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 gone on and on. But like you said, I mean, yeah, it's a TV show, first of all. But second of all, it's just relax, like not everybody has to be this. And I don't think it makes women any less strong to be in love or supportive of their husband. Doesn't mean that they don't have their own lives. Doesn't mean that they don't, can't have their own careers and stuff. But by God, you can be happy. Yeah. I mean,
whether that meant Ross getting on the plane with her, I think the whole point of it was seeing the six of them together at the end of the show.
That's right. That's
have
exactly
Rachel
right.
go off and be like, oh, okay, she's in Paris. And then everyone walk out of a different door.
Yeah.
And say, okay, see you later. It was like,
right.
Had to end the way it started. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I always liked that episode at the end. I always thought, that's what we're supposed to see at the end, right?
Right. But we didn't talk about, she wasn't offended by any of the promiscuity.
Right.
Any of the hooking up with each other at some point.
Cheating, Joey being promiscuous. Yeah.
Nothing with, there could be so many things. Phoebe, carrying her brother's babies.
Right.
Her brother marrying his teacher. I mean, there's so many.
Ross dating a student.
Right. Ross dating a student. There's so many things you could have picked.
And they picked that Ross actually and Rachel fell in love. Yeah.
Monica dating her optometrist. I mean,
her parents' friend.
I mean, come on. The things that you picked are things that, yes, you're offended by today, but you're offended for the wrong reasons. You're nitpicking.
You're super sensitive for the wrong reasons.
And you're taking it out of context.
Yeah.
Talk about present it in the framework of the entire show, and then tell me that you should be offended by it.
Yeah.
Talk about, Monica's weight as part of her background story.
Right.
And her relationship with her parents and with her brother and with Chandler even, and with Rachel. Talk about her hair, as, this is the first time we've seen this group go on a trip together outside of the coffee shop. Yeah. And they're in humid weather. She had a real reaction to people with curly hair. Yeah, I guarantee you there was someone on the writing team with curly hair who had gone through that, who was like, this is hilarious. And everybody who had curly hair, because I thought it was hilarious, I was like, yes, that's exactly what happened.
Been there, done that.
Yes. So, I mean, yes, if we take things out of context, out of everything that we do or say, you can be offended by a whole lot of things. Yep. But present them in context. I mean, Friends is the type of show, you were talking about the Netflix shows now that our kids watch or, will watch one day. But Friends is one of those shows, I still use lines out of that show. When we move anything in the house, my husband and I together, I'm always like, pivot.
He knows
exactly what I'm talking about. He's like,
of course.
Shut up.
Of course. I'm the same way. And everybody had their little catchphrases. I mean, how many times, of course, you've heard people be like, how you doing? And I mean, could we be any more sensitive?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I mean, I think Friends is fairly timeless. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's one of the very rare shows that I do believe can pull that off. So their anniversary is coming up. Celebrate by watching some of the most offensive episodes you can find and let us know how upset you are.
Chandler cheating or having an affair with a married woman with Janice.
And then dating Joey's girlfriend at the same time.
Joey's girlfriend, yep.
But hey, that's all cool.
Losing a baby on a bus.
It's all good as long as Rachel doesn't get off the damn plane, right?
That's right. If she would have just stayed on the plane, everything would have been good in Friends.
Everything would have been fine with Friends.
Hey, this is Andrew Moose from the Street Circle Drive podcast here on The Mesh. Interested in promoting your business to an online audience? Your ad could be right here. Consider advertising on the Mesh Podcast Network. Head over to themesh.tv for details.
So, hey, I don't need to get into much discussion, but I have some big news.
Okay.
I watched Braveheart for the first time this past weekend.
For the first time?
First time. I'd never seen Braveheart.
Does your brother know this?
He does. And
is he a little disappointed in you?
I have two brothers, right? So my middle brother, my oldest brother hosts Foot Candle Films here on The Mesh, right? And reviews films and shows and movies and is all about the movies.
Right.
My middle brother enjoys movies as well. Like that's just kind of a family trait. But that middle brother, he wants bagpipes played at his funeral one day to the tune apparently of Braveheart music.
Oh.
I mean, we're not
Scottish.
We're not Scottish. We're not any of that. Yeah. But for some reason, we were on this topic a while back and we were all talking about things and he made it very clear, bagpipes at a party in the tune of Braveheart. And I made the comment, maybe I should watch it before then. And I was almost kicked out of the house because he was like, what are you talking about? You've never seen it. So much that he went into my TV and set up a recording for when Braveheart was coming on. He found it and he set the recording. So I kind of mentioned it to a couple other people that I was, I'd not seen Braveheart and all. And I mean, I was outcasted. I was put out on a ledge out here in Washington. Like people are flabbergasted that I'd never seen Braveheart.
I mean, it's been some years since I've seen it, but I've seen it. It was very long.
I watched it and nobody told me that joke. Nobody told me that thing was 4 hours long.
Oh yeah, mark out half your day for that. But
gravy. I'm sitting there and I put my kids to bed. I paused it to put my kids to bed. Then I came back down, was watching it. I paused it again as my husband went to bed. He was like, are you really going to stay up and watch this thing? I mean, my husband can quote it. I didn't realize this, but he can quote the whole movie.
Oh, gee.
I was like, what? I don't know. But Moose is listening to this recording right now. I'm sure Moose has seen Braveheart because he's a dude. But I'm just going to be honest here. It doesn't live up to the hype for me. Moose just chimed in affirmative. Yes, Moose has seen it. I get it. But
no, it's not one of those movies that I have to watch it again. I'm good.
I think maybe it would have helped if I watched it back then. No, maybe not.
No, I saw it back then. I'm like, I'm good.
It's 95 when it came out. Okay. Wes, my husband, was even standing there telling me where he was and who he was with when he first saw it and the emotions that he went through when he saw it in the theater and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
don't remember any of that.
I'm watching it going, I don't know. I think Mel Gibson is playing the same role he always plays. And there's a couple really bad actors in the movie. And everybody was all Wes kept nudging me, telling me this is a big part. This is a big part. This is a big part. I've seen all the parodies. I've seen all the references to that big speech he gives on the horse. About this freedom.
I vaguely remember. Again, it's been years. It's been probably 95.
Yeah. So, I've seen all these references and Wes is sitting over there almost with tears in his eyes, being this is the pivotal point. This is one of the most inspiring speeches you'll ever hear in a movie. No, wasn't moved by it at all. Kind of thought it was distracting because he kept running back and forth on this horse. And how come he got blue paint and nobody else did on his face? He got to go get war paint and he left the rest of the group out except for his 3 best buddies, They
look cool.
I guess so, and where did you get blue paint? Where did you have this time to do this?
He Now, wait a minute. Is this the one that your brother is an extra in?
No, he was in the one with oh my gosh, what's his name?
I thought it was a Mel Gibson movie for some reason.
No, it's not the Mel Gibson one. I'll think of it in a minute. He was a French soldier extra. Last of the Mohicans. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Moose just brought it out. Don't tell Alan I said that. So yeah, I don't know. There's this whole storyline in the movie Braveheart, spoiler for every other 6 people that haven't watched it in this world apparently, but there's this storyline where at the very beginning, we find out that the Scottish are setting a rule that they get to have their way with the women of, not the Scottish, the English are setting this rule that they get to have their way with any Scottish women the night of their marriage before their husband gets to. Mm-hmm. Because they're trying to, quote, breed out the Scottish. Okay. Mm-hmm. I get that. Okay. I get what that was going on. Like, I understood that part of the movie.
Is the author of that other article offended by that?
Yeah. Maybe we need to bring back all 90s references.
Other things you should be offended by.
So, at the very end, not the very end, but close to the end, Mel Gibson, who the entire movie is avenging his wife's death. Mm-hmm. Okay. The whole movie he has spent dreaming and fantasizing about her and waiting to be with her again. And over the fact that these guys tried to have their way with him. She fought them off and then they burned her at the stake or whatever. Mm-hmm. They sliced her throat, but they tried. She bit their cheek off, right? Yeah. He finds out about it. He's mad. And she gets caught still, like trying to run away. So he spends this whole fight for this. And yet he goes and Queen of England, and gets her pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I'm appalled. I'm appalled at the end of this movie. And I'm sitting there looking at Wes going, what? Why would he do that? Why is he stooping that low? And all that? Wes is like, this is the most important part. He did this for this and all. And I'm like, he was dreaming about his wife. Mel Gibson, you
waste of my time.
Slime ball.
I guess it's one of those, you have to be into that stuff, I guess, but.
Well, I kind of usually am. Like, I really kind of like historical and that type of movie, I guess. I'll tell you my
favorite historical movie. You're going to be like, what?
Please.
Anytime it comes on, and my husband's the same way, we'll watch it together. Troy with Brad Pitt.
I've never seen it either.
Love it.
Really?
I don't know what it is about that movie, but I love that we watch it. When I say if it's on, we will watch it. Anytime it's on, we will watch that movie.
Like, I've never even known that it would be on. Like, I didn't.
Oh no, it's on all the time. Like now, it's on all the time. Yeah. But
I'll have to research that one now too and see if I'm as. I don't get it. Like, I've heard so many people talk about Braveheart over the years, and now it's like.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this. I enjoyed. If we're talking about Mel Gibson films, I enjoyed Mad Max Under the Thunderdome more than I enjoyed Braveheart.
Totally different.
Completely different. But I would rather watch that movie again. And I have no desire to see it again, but I would rather watch that movie again than to watch Braveheart again.
Well, did you ever see The Patriot that Mel Gibson was in? Not the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, but
I've never seen a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Okay. The Mel Gibson Patriot is all about Swamp Fox, Francis Marion in Charleston, back in the Civil War type stuff. So that one I watch and I enjoy. But Braveheart to me was a combination of The Patriot and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
I like that movie.
I kind of like that movie too. That's why I don't need to see it again in Braveheart.
Right.
I mean.
And if we're talking about inspirational speeches on the back of a horse, the speech in Glory by Matthew
Broderick,
tears streaming down my face.
I love Glory.
Every single time.
I love Glory.
Sends the horse off. Oh my gosh. Like, I prepare. I know what's going to happen. I've seen it happen at least 10, 15 times. Because again, another movie I will watch anytime it's on. Tears, like streaming, like almost urging them not to do it, even though I know it's a historical movie and I know that. Like, oh gosh.
I know.
And they're like, everyone's going.
I love it. I love a good inspirational speech. I love it. I love it.
Talking about inspirational speeches on the back of a horse. If we put that one against Braveheart, I'm going with Matthew Broderick all day.
Hands down.
Like,
hands down. And it's been years since I've seen Glory, but I still remember that.
Another movie that's always on.
You know what? I watched that horrible movie, Iron Eagle, whenever I was younger. And it had Lou Gossett Jr., who gave this ridiculous inspirational speech on a tape recorder at the end of the movie. And that one was better than Mel Gibson on the back of a horse. Like, there's so many more out there. I was so surprised this had gotten so much hype over the years. It
had to. It was a big budget movie. They had to make their money back. They had to force people into watching it by talking about how great it was. Then you watch it and you're like,
meh. Meh.
I mean, is that that's how we're going to end it? That's it? It's almost like watching all of Titanic. Then you get that ending. Like, really?
Oh, she couldn't hang on a little bit longer. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I guess now I'll have to watch an episode of Seinfeld or something because I've never seen one of those either.
You've never... Seinfeld was one. It took me a while to get into it, but once I did, I was all in.
I just don't get it.
It's ironic. You're not supposed to get it.
No, I know. I've never seen a whole episode. I don't know.
I don't know that one holds up today. I mean, it holds up. It holds up, but I don't think like if it was presented today that I would be like, yeah, it's something I want to watch.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. And I mean, maybe that's the case with a lot of these, but I don't know. Apparently everybody else thought that Braveheart holds up and it doesn't. So just passing that along. Real quick before we wrap up, still waiting on the buzz of whether or not 90210 is going to be renewed for season 2.
Because tomorrow's the last episode, right?
Final episode of season 1. They keep referring to it as season 1.
I hope it comes back. I have
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Can I tell you that I am enjoying Shannon Doherty more than I thought I would? Like,
you know, I'm surprised that I'm okay with her and that like she
is making me laugh.
Yeah, she's making me laugh.
Every episode. Like
you're called up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so last episode we got to see Ray Pruitt.
Yes.
That was hilarious. That whole part was fantastic. That was Jamie Walters, right? Is his name?
Yes.
Yeah, and the fact that he was singing How to Talk to an Angel just...
Oh, yeah, it took me back to the 90s.
I loved it. And I love their one-liners. I love the quickness of the shots on this, of how they each get a little snarky with each other, and I think it's fantastic. I do. I love it. I'm wanting more. I read an article that said that Tori Spelling was on board for a season 2 and that she thought it would be great. I know, of course she is.
Ask anybody but Tori, because we know Tori's answer.
I told her. I read that it would be that nothing's announced yet, though, but that Shannon Doherty thinks they should kind of just pump the brakes on it a little bit because she doesn't want to overdo it.
Shannon
being Shannon, and Shannon probably getting a little bit more money. I love that they take these jabs at each other because it really, really makes me wonder how much of it was true, right?
Yeah. Now, there is one thing that bothers me about the show.
Okay.
I do not like the woman that they have playing the head writer. I feel like I can tell she's acting, and I don't like
the redhead that's hooking up with Steve now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy her character at all.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm not super pumped on her either, but
I'm kind of cooled off on the bodyguard now. He was cool when he was the bodyguard. Now he's kind of like,
Now they're reaching on it. Now I'm like, just let's move on. Let's talk more about the story and stuff. But I do think I think there's potential there for season 2. Tori Spelling said that if season 2 happens, it would be more of the true reboot, like a show within a show.
Okay.
Which I think would be great. Let's get some more of these clips. I love the parts where they show like flashbacks of what they really would like be like in the show right now these days, I guess, and referencing back to old things that they used to talk about. No, I love it. I love that Tori Spelling had an awkward moment being back in bed with Brian Austin Green. And that she was so like almost paranoid about it, right? She's like, I've had all these kids. My body looks different. I need my good angle. And hey, this is a kid that I, on the show, she says lost her virginity to, but that I had a lot of years with.
Yeah.
And I think all that stuff's just great. It really triggers who, our age range, I think.
Yeah, I think the show's is funny. And I hope they do come back because, I feel like they're cramming a lot, although I like that they get to the conclusions really quickly.
Yes.
It's almost like you're cramming in too much. There's the dramatic effect is gone because it's not. You end up usually find out by the next episode or by the end of that current episode.
That's right.
Going on.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with them kind of keeping it short like that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of humorous, that they whiz through everything and you're getting this crash course of like their lives. I also am not a fan of Lala Kent, but
I enjoy her. I've seen her in other things and like as a VJ.
Yeah.
But, I've always enjoyed Lala, so I guess I give her a pass, maybe undeservingly, but I do.
Yeah, and I don't mind her. I get what they're trying to do, but I feel like sometimes she's a little like, oh, this and everything's a little too slow when she says it. And I'm like, man, I don't really feel the chemistry of her and Brian, but I'm fine with it. So yeah, I love what they've done. I can't wait to see tomorrow night to see like, are you going to leave us with the cliffhanger so that we actually assume that maybe there's another season coming?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open for any updates. If anybody wants to share anything about whether or not they have heard about season 2, we'll be down for it. On the next Chick Chat, I'd really like to discuss the Real Housewives franchise because I have branched out. I have officially started watching Dallas.
I've never seen Dallas.
Okay, I had never either. And these women are the best.
Really?
I'm going to need you to start watching Real Housewives of Dallas, and we're going to discuss on the next episode, along with some other Bravo dirt that I already have in my pocket.
Okay.
But Real Housewives of Dallas, they've only had one episode thus far, maybe 2. I don't know. But you can find them. They're so good. These women are intense. Okay. And it's funny to watch. Like, it's really funny. So I encourage you to do that, and any listeners out there, so that we can take in your questions and hear what you guys want to know about. But that's all I got for today.
Okay.
That was a pretty deep episode, right? Like
a little bit deep. Yeah, we got to be a little lighter next time.
We will.
It was good stuff, though.
I think this was needed. We needed to address some stupidity out there and sensitivity and people that are just taking things to the extreme, and we're just not here for it on Chick Chat. So
and fabulous children and the fabulous children of this decade.
More power to us and amazing teachers and being great parents. So yay us.
Yay to us.
Yay Chick Chat.
And to all you other fabulous parents that are raising children just the same.
We hear you. We hear you loud and clear, and we love it. So what we would love to do is hear from you if you have any topics or questions that you'd like us to address, any shows or, heaven forbid, any horrible movies you want me to watch. I'll do it. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you the truth about how I feel about them afterwards. So please take some time to go and check out the rest of our shows that we offer on the Mesh.tv podcast network. Got something for everybody on there. And subscribe and review our shows so that we know that you are listening. So Jeanette, give my love to the East Coast.
I will do so.
Yay! So we will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.